unconsciously, hawkers have been led to take the shortest straw. They're expected to feed the poor. Why is it their duty?
You said that there was a turning point when the SEHCs were launched. What are your biggest gripes with that model?
It will suppress the organic growth of our hawker culture. All the SEHC, day, morning, night, evening, I've seen them all. Easy to say footfall. How come all the hawkers are leaving? Some of these SEHC are empty. If you do not stand up and protect your own country and help the government make this better, you're a failure. Take away your passport.
Then when you see like Newton Hawker Centre in Crazy Rich Asians and all that, how do you feel about that kind of thing?
There's nothing wrong in Newton Hawker Centre, but there's too much grilled fish on there. I thought
time is running out. This is your final chance to nominate a loved one to be part of a very special SG60 project that we're doing. Singapore is celebrating its 60th birthday, and Folklories, our audio service, is marking this milestone in a very special way. We'll be interviewing 60 Singaporean seniors over 60 years old to capture their life stories for our Words of Wisdom project. But interview spots are disappearing fast. Your parent, grandparent, or that wise uncle could miss their place in history if you don't act now. Here's the best part. It's a heartfelt one-on-one interview done remotely. No travel, just their life story recorded from home. Nominate them right now at the link in the show notes. And don't forget, the first interviews are already live. Hear them now at the same link. But hurry, we're closing nominations soon. And now, on to the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 𝗂𝗲𝗏, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking a lot about something which we have already spoken a lot about.
But this guest is a long time coming already.
Yeah, a long time coming.
Right?
We've been doing our own studying, our own research, but now we have someone who is widely seen as the person to talk to about hawker culture.
That's right.
So please, we'd like to welcome street heritage and street food advocate and entrepreneur 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗍.
Yay!
Welcome to 𝗂𝗲𝗏.
Yeah, welcome. And firstly, why must your room look like some tarot card reading? Why?
It's for the vibes.
Glamping like that one.
Yeah, the lights and can do proposal.
You don't feel
everything.
very cozy inside.
Yeah.
Like some Sean thing. Somebody's gonna my ancestors gonna appear and then
It's
tell
where
me.
time stands still because we cut out all daylight. So it's like a casino lah. So you lose track of time lah.
I mean, it is a very spiritual experience to be here.
Yeah,
right? To talk,
Okay,
you know,
spiritual.
get into
I'll
conversation.
accept that spiritual.
Yeah.
Soulful,
Soulful, yes,
exactly.
Yes, you were saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we really wanted you here for a long time because I think
I can understand why.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in the news a lot the last 2 months, and it's still ongoing. We're still seeing you posting a lot of things about this particular topic. That is very near and dear to the hearts of all Singaporeans, right? Which is hawker culture and whether it can be saved, right? Yeah. I think we have recently even spoken to someone from the government about this as well.
Yeah.
And, we had our questions and there are certain insights that we're trying to understand. But we did want to hear from your perspective of why you are diving into this and what brought you here.
The one they sponsor one
Sponsor.
This one I know sponsor one
But hopefully, this one no sponsor
In
lah.
fact, they are on my show. Welcome
yes.
to the Makansutra pod featuring 𝗂𝗏𝗏.
It'd be great if you do start a Makansutra podcast.
Too tired, no energy.
You know what I
A lot of
mean?
ideas, a lot still brewing there, but I'll be happy to talk to you about this kind of issues as we go along.
But the other thing also is that I think, we're talking to, young people who listen to our show as well. And we're trying to explain to them also about, why it's so important that someone like 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗍 comes forward and talks about this, right? Whether it's about civic space and everything, but also about the person 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗍, right? And that's what we want to dive a bit into, a little bit about who you are as well.
Because we know you have a lot of thoughts, which we'll get to, but to ground those thoughts in your own life story, right?
Yeah.
We know you started off with Straits Times as a photojournalist, but then you left, and what happened after that? Or like even photojournalism, like why did you want to capture stories?
Okay, let's start after the sweet spot. The sweet spot is when my father died when I was 12.
Okay.
Bo Lao Pei, and then you like aimless, and mother is a housewife. So I've always had this knack for, curiosity for a lot of things. I would dig into my father's cupboard and dig out his Miranda camera, his Minolta spy camera, and play with it as if I'm a cameraman and all that. Then after O-levels, I did averagely lousy. And then the only place who would accept me was Baharudin Vocational Institute. JC wanted me to go and play football. I said, no lah, I want to do something that I like. So I studied advertising and photography. And then I went to the army. And then after all the basic mud throwing, jumping, slinging training, I was taken to Pioneer Magazine to be a photographer, and I loved that job. See things, helicopter shots, and all that. And after army, I joined a commercial photography outfit for a good half to 1 year. Yeah, you see models and all that. Wow, very shocked, but I didn't really like it. It's too engineered, too organized. So I went to see this ad that asked for photographers in Straits Times. Went there, and the guy hired me on the spot. And then I remember 𝗲𝗵𝗶, the photo editor. We were talking. I'm very, you can tell I talk a lot. I talk a lot. When I was in Brunei, I shot the thing, and then he looked at me. He says, "You speak very good English." I said, "Walao." After all that, he told me. So I told him, "You also, Mr. Wee." The arrogance got me the job, and then I had to spend a great 8 years down there.
Wait, this was 80s or?
This in the 80s,
okay.
Early to end of 80s, 90s. And in that stint there, I went through journalism school, passed, and I really loved it. Until at one stage, my bosses tell me, "Your job, you don't come in, I want 3 picture stories every week. No picture, no story, don't come back, don't collect salary." That kind of attitude, which you can be sued for today.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. You don't do it, you die.
Yeah.
So
but
then
about any particular area, or?
I did everything. I was a news photographer, shoot some murder scene. I went to photograph 𝗲𝗲, Singapore's most notorious gun for hire. He shot the chicken rice, in River Valley. So I was there, 6 a.m. shift, and they told me, "Hey, they got the guy." So rode down there. I saw the guy, with all the police, all the surrounded, and then after that, later afternoon, go to Istana, shoot.
And this was in the days of
somebody.
The days of film, right?
It was film, yeah. So film, I really love film. I mean, compared to digital photography,
film,
you had to
special.
have full control of your light, your camera, and every reflection in front of you.
Yeah.
Today, it's AI and Photoshop.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I jumped away, quit commercial photography to go into food culture, which was what on earth is that situation when I started.
And that was which year?
1997, I started Makansutra. 1998, I inked the first food guide, not knowing where we're going with that.
But what made you want to go from, covering everything from murders to Istana, fashion? Why food?
And 𝗏𝗍 was still a model. Love you, Zoe.
Yeah. Why food?
Because it's still about storytelling. Through food. I have a black book back in the day. I wrote down, say, why is so diverse? Why am I going from prata to laksa to all that? And I realized there's diversity in the flavors. Through that, I know who I am. I can walk through a hawker center and tell you, Teochew, Nonya, this one is Hokkien by Teochew people, Teochew by Hokkien, Cantonese. This is nonsense, that is da-da-da. I know who I am. I know who they are. I know what they represent. So I stand firmer as a Singaporean just through food culture. There are tons of stories. When I went out to do what I do, it wasn't about 𝗏𝗲𝗏𝗏, good or no good. Sure, it's part of what I do in the food guide. But I wanted to sell the culture. Eat the food, digest the culture. People today don't just want to eat what's good. They want to understand the entire experience of eating that bak chor mee and what it means. That is the true souvenir. That is the true culinary souvenir you can bring away from Singapore every time you visit or come home to. Not the Malayan mug.
And was that interest growing in parallel as you were spending those 8 years as a photojournalist?
No. It came after I did my commercial photography stint as a senior assistant, lugging things around. Then I went to do commercial photography. I did that for a good 10 over years. I bought landed properties, and it was very, very good. But I didn't like the perimeter of that commercial work. You just do what the client wanted. There was very little. The space for creativity was very narrow. And I went into Makansutra because I could still write, I could still take pictures, I could still tell stories. And the more I dug, the deeper the hole was. It's like a sand hole. The bigger the hole is. It's like an island of knowledge. The bigger your island, the longer your shores of curiosity.
Yeah. But that means at the same time, there was that, in parallel with that, there was, essentially becoming an entrepreneur, right? Being in charge of your own destiny.
In those days, entrepreneur wasn't a word. It was businessman, sole proprietor, that kind of stuff. I set up KF Store photography because I have to pay tax and register everything and all that. But entrepreneurism was something seriously I have to think about. When we did the book, and then I went on my TV show, and then I exploded onto the public scene. I said, what am I going to do with this? What is this all about?
Yeah.
Everybody comes up to you. They call you, CNN calls me this, people call me that. And then, how do I, for lack of a better word, capitalize on this culture? People ask me, what you sell? You sell food? I say I sell food culture. People eat the food, but when you go, wow, that's why I sell. Try to sell the wow. And it's multifaceted. I do food guides, I do TV shows now, and looking to do some more things online, especially on YouTube. Looking to start my new channel soon to properly tell stories that I can't really tell as a photojournalist in 3 minutes. Real time, I want to tell you real story. And then we did food tours. We do the World Street Food Congress, and now we bring Singapore food culture overseas, notably Urban Hawker in New York. It's very exciting for me. I loved it.
But was there any trepidation or just fear of the unknown when you were venturing into Makansutra? Like really leaving your photojournalism years behind?
Of course. I was making shitload of money as a photographer. Then to make that conscious statement to yourself, I got to exit this slowly and weave into Makansutra, not knowing what Makansutra can do. Big thing. But if you don't challenge yourself, you're dead. A challenge is an everyday thing. So now, you give me a challenge, I'll have it for breakfast.
But what was the culture or like the thoughts around hawker culture back then? Because you started doing the food guide all in 1997, is it? Was there a sense that, this is not going to last if you're not careful? Or was it more like this was reaching peak mainstream and you wanted to bring it up?
There was. So, but I always had my photography in the back. Even when I was doing my TV show, being featured left, right, center every day, I was still taking on photo assignments. Not bad. Those days, doing film, it was like 4-figure a day. You don't wake up for less than that kind of thing. So, as you go on, you have to take that step into the dark and feel what's ahead. Now, I create what's ahead. So, words of the late Johnny Apple of the New York Times. Once we were in California, Culinary Institute of America, and then I was the keynote speaker at their conference, and he introduced me, and then he was talking about me, and then he said, "Heck, this man does all this, da 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 da." I said, we don't even have a company like that in America. I thought, yeah, man. So that got me, to think about what we should do. You must always reinvent. Change is permanent.
But like going back to the time around the late 90s, early 2000s, what was public sentiment towards hawker centers like back then? Was it something that you felt was appreciated or
unheralded? People just go there to eat. But I began to see more as I was doing my TV shows and doing my food guides. You talk to these people, suddenly you switch to 𝗬𝗄𝗍𝗵𝗶, the story all tembak. You tour, apa khabar bang? Ni berapa tahun and all that. Wow, the stories coming. I was so fascinated about the stories. I cannot not dive deeper. And along the way, you got to find ways to make money, because we all need salaries. Right?
I mean, and I think that was a big part that elevated, Singapore food culture, our hawker culture, to eventually a UNESCO listing, right?
It is. It really started. When I did all this, and all these big guys, Ramsay, Bourdain, New York Times, all the different people came to visit me. They wanted to hear my take on it. I remember the first time Bourdain came, his agent called my office. Bourdain here is filming, and he says he cannot leave Singapore without having me on the show. Then famous like anything, then cannot be an idiot, right? Like, oh yeah, sure. But I'll let you know where I'm gonna film later. I just finished filming myself. Then I put the phone down and I asked my wife, who on earth is When we met, we hit off. We are soulmates. I met a lot of them. Not everybody I feel for. The first thing he came in, he took out my little guidebook and then he circled out just one sentence in my forward. He said, I want you to sign right beside that. And the sentence said, I said in the forward, food on screen, on print, even on podcast, is an oxymoron. Food must be in your face, be in your system. Then you can exhale and experience all the wonders that it is.
So Bourdain is worth getting out a bit for.
We are very, there are some things Bourdain told me to today nobody written about, and I still will not tell. I have a lot of respect for that man. He feels for the little people. I guess in certain ways I do feel for the ordinariness of society that I would love to champion. I do what I do to... I saw this interview by 𝗂𝗍𝗍 with 𝗪𝗲 𝗍𝗂𝗍 on CNN. And 𝗪𝗲 asked, what are you going to do? That you MMSM, you're going to move on already. What's your hope and dream for Singapore? And he said very simply, he said he wants Singapore to be healthy and thriving. That every Singaporean has the potential or has the opportunity to realize their full potential to the max. So I'm doing that too.
That is quite a thread, in terms of being of the people, being on the ground and speaking up for the ordinary person as well. But I did want to ask you, in terms of Singapore getting to the UNESCO heritage listing for hawker food, was that something that you were that you foresaw even when you first started doing things?
No. Oh, actually, yes. I the first one that I mentioned about is that our 𝗬𝗲𝗏, our prosperity, that everybody eats it. Whatever color you are, everybody eats it, right? Because it's such a rah dish, and it's celebrated in Chinese New Year. Everybody eats it. So I did mention in one of my articles, in my old new paper article, which I wrote for them for like 10, 11 years, and I said we should apply for a UNESCO recognition. Because French fry also UNESCO recognized, so why not our 𝗬𝗲𝗏? So and then the editor, hey, lovely story. He cleaned up my story. He did that, and then we had a response from the Malaysian then tourism minister. No, it's ours. So I had to respond and said, okay, my proof, my backing up is from the 4 heavenly kings, and I gave dates, I gave interviews, I spoke to them. They said it was in 19 don't know what. They were 4 chefs, and they came up and they developed this raw fish salad from something they ate as a kid in Shunta, which was just raw fish salad. So they gave it a name, they gave it a color, they gave it a meaning. And then the stand-up and toss was not by them, it was done by the people. So the people, so I say it's such an experience, a culture,
such a Singaporean thing.
Dish of sorts, So that was went on. And then in 2018, I was invited by National Heritage Board to attend a focus group on what's UNESCO-fiable after botanical gardens.
Okay.
So you call me, what do you think I'll talk about, right? Sports or music. So I said, hawker food lah. And then I could see all the around me, Then I'm like, oh
skepticism,
God.
is it?
Yeah, it's like hawker food.
But were you surprised that people had that skepticism?
Yeah. Yeah. No, not surprised.
Not
People had
surprised.
disdain for hawker food.
Yeah.
Something so unheralded, so well loved, yet unheralded. So when I saw their face, okay, I roll up my sleeve. Okay, I said culture. I didn't say food. You know what do you mean by culture? Culture? I say, I give you a simple thing. People travel, they go overseas, study, attachment, they come back straight away, must makan on. Then go see parents or wife and kids.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
Then they feel it's home, right?
Yeah.
Among other things I brought up, how food is for, of, and by the people. Then I said, call up the UNESCO criteria page. I think there were like 10 little boxes you have to check, Then, one by one, checked off every box swimmingly. 4 months later, then PM Lee Hsien Loong announced they're going to do this, they're going to apply this for a UNESCO award. And we got it on December 2020. On my birthday.
Your birthday.
This is a sign, Walao. How can I run away, man?
So I mean, given that you entered the space in 1997 and you were getting connected with acclaimed food critics from around the world, and the status of hawker culture was being elevated till it became a UNESCO intangible heritage item. But where we are now when it comes to hawker culture, like how do you look back from the time you entered in 1997? Because it feels like for a while it was going the right path, it's becoming something we need to appreciate. But now the sentiment is very different. Do you look back at it as like it peaked at a certain point?
Yeah.
At what point?
In 2000 until 2015.
That was like the golden age.
Golden age. Everybody wants my ass for something, Oh, the tourism board and all the agencies calling me, hey, this guy coming, you have to meet. Can you host this super group from don't know where to do a tour of them? And I said, why don't you do a midnight tour? Wow, 11 p.m. until 3 a.m. Wow, they love. So I will tell you, Singapore is a 24 hours foodies central, and stories like that. I weave stories into a tour. So as you know the theme behind it and why So many. And then they introduced the 4-letter word.
The SEHC.
I gave him a prize. Gave him a prize.
So you mean that was like a turning point, is it, you feel?
I was roped in, I think 2010. At the time, the Ministry of Environment, I think it was under Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan and also Dr. 𝗍𝗲𝗍𝗔. They had this idea of building another 20 hawker centers because, it's a bonding thing. Right? They can call it political because people relate to it. Yeah, they score points. Nothing wrong there.
Yeah.
And I was asked to come and sit into one of their first committee, hawker committee. I see all the big wigs on there, and you go in there, and the first thing they see me, oh, Mr. Seetoh, the 𝗂𝗂𝗍𝗶 man, where he go now? Last time the fellow at Newton, the one, the fellow die already. The sun take over at the other side and all that. So they were still into what to eat, where to eat, that kind of thing. So I said, I think we got quite a way to go to understand what a plate of 𝗂𝗂𝗍𝗶 can mean to an entrepreneur, to an educationist, to tourism, to the common man.
So,
but I mean, in some way, that is something that people are also asking, right? Like in your experience, I think you are now running your own company and essentially operating your own business that also has works with hawkers and all that, right? What about the hawker experience of being entrepreneur do you relate with the most?
Yeah, I relate to. So when they came up with this Hey, let's rewind a bit. So we did the hawker committee, 3 committees later, and I saw a 53-point recommendation that came out of it. I didn't sit through all 3. I was quite busy doing stuff, but I told them, hey, these are the points you guys got to address.
And this was which year? The
early 2010s.
Yeah, that was when they first started realizing that
around there, the committees started happening. They had 3 committees before they disbanded, and then they had all these hawker seminars and all that. And I remember out of that, they had a 58-pointer that came out, 58-pointer out of that conversation. And I read, wow, hey, oh my goodness. I saw it, but now I can't find it. I don't know where it disappeared to. Today, then they introduced the SEHC. None of those, hardly any of those were implemented.
So during the committees, I mean, because when we also tried to research on the history of SEHCs, what other alternative models were considered, we can't find anything. So from your recollection, were there other models explored? Was the SEHC even explored during those committee meetings?
No, we wanted, hey, your NEA, do it lah. You guys have been running hawker centers since the 60s, built it, ran it. Nobody got complaints. Kept it fairly clean, affordable. Where were the complaints? You want to improve, these are the ideas, just implement them. And then they came up with SEHC, which, as you know, all those things that I pointed out, it's egregious, right?
Yeah.
I am the expert in hawkers, public asset hawker center management and building, for and of and by the people. And I get you a commercial food court operator, pay you $5 million to go and run it. And then you go and monetize the thing and then create this situation today so that puts so many players under fear if this carries on. So I have to stand up and say something about it. It is not happening. And I was also invited to attend a hawker seminar in, I think, just before COVID, maybe, around there. And yeah, hawkers were there. There were players there. There were experts on there. Well, a whole day, got breakout meeting and all that. And then that recommendations is still online today. I've put it up before. Not implemented also.
And just for you as your Makansutra, were you in the running at all to be one of these SEHCs?
I was asked by NEA after the first post I put up, 2018, I think, or 2019. I put up not a social enterprise hawkers and it was like what 2,000 word drama I wrote, and I explained why. Then the authorities called me up, and they sat down and said, "Seetoh, what's your concern?" And I told them, and I was asked to give ideas. How would you want to? I don't really want to run a hawker center, not my key business model, but I would love to implement one so we can set certain standards if you believe in my ideas. Because I had in my team one of the ex-hawker chiefs who also had ideas, but he couldn't implement because he was just a guy in the whole system. So now he's outside, he works with me. I can share it with the top echelons. So he said, "Seetoh, what else?" And I said, maybe you want to form a Hawkers Day. We so need a Hawkers Day. Our food festival, fine as it is, but it doesn't grab. If you say Hawkers Day, 100 of Singapore's top hawkers voted by the people, by influencers, by stories and color, by CMIO. They will come. Oh, okay. Please send your proposals to us.
Was there ever any mention that because one thing that we have seen in even the media industry, the people setting the policies, they might not be practitioners themselves, or they might not have experience in that industry themselves.
How you know?
when the discussions were happening, was there any talk of actually, whether it's you or other people coming in? Just now you mentioned to execute, to implement. Are you saying that you wanted to be part of the
work with them, work with my team, give my views and share my expertise with their hawkers team? Whether you get me to set a system up or run it for a while, then after that, when you hand this, if you feel it works, and then perhaps you can hand it down to future operators. That these are the rules, these are the parameters, these are the KPIs. This is 2019, right? Today, I'm still waiting for a reply.
So I mean, you said that there was a turning point when the SEHCs were launched. What are your biggest gripes with that model? I mean, and I'm not talking about day-to-day execution, like philosophically, fundamentally. What issue do you see?
It will suppress the growth, the organic growth of our hawker culture because of the way they treat this like a food court, food hall, food market operator. I know because I'm one. You know, I know the difference between commercial and public asset management, what the goals are here and what the goals are there.
Actually, what are the differences for
from
people?
Public asset? You cannot make money. Sure, it should be a not-for-profit. Doesn't mean you don't make money. You do make money, but you implement in such a way that it really spurs growth, spurs idea. One of the things I suggested at that meeting way back when was, I think we should also train your managers or a team within your department to look at social media. How do you go around, help tell stories, know the hawkers personally at a professional level? Hey, I like to tell a story about your second generation, how you come in at 2 a.m. and all this. So people endear more to the stories and hardships of the hawkers that give us this culinary fabric.
But it is not meant to make money. Then why would people come up with ideas? Why would it even grow to attract future hawkers? It's just like a
not to make money via the management
or the operator.
The operator must have every potential to succeed to the max. So as an operator, I know for a fact from ex-players down there, these NEA people, I know them. Two fellas can manage 3 or 4 hawker centers in a go. That's all.
But isn't that the thing that it's 2 of them, and to ask them to do things like social media and all that?
Train more, expand the team. Hello, they can give $5 million to these canopy fellas. $5 million. I can do a lot with your $5 million. How to train, develop, and then even I bring in design experts. How to relook at your signage. How to relook at the appearance, little things like that. Yeah. You wear this, you wear that, you must have the attitude, that look, that hook that draws you.
Yeah. But then how do you balance that with, because I mean, when I think about, what is hawker culture to me, a bit of that grittiness, feels like it must be part of it. But if you are making it more polished, social media-wise, the branding, then isn't that kind of
these are to frame the grittiness. You curate the grittiness. Some hawkers beyond gritty, just say, I need to save you. You need to at least wear a glove and don't dig your nose. So it has to have this space. I mean, some space you cannot go out of. This space should be big enough for this culture to play and for us to go in and engage and enjoy.
So that means in your model, the operator keeps it running, but the hawkers, there should be no ceiling on the growth. Like if you want to blow up and become huge, that is what the goal of a hawker center.
To encourage them to be the best that they can be. I know of hawkers now, I'll give you a story. Malik, you listening from the 𝗪𝗔 𝗪𝗔 in Adams Road, right? He started down there, right?
Yeah, 𝗪𝗲, right?
Started at 𝗪𝗲.
𝗪𝗲, yeah.
I remember the father told me, when I brought them to New York for the Singapore's Day, the father told me, can you persuade my son to take over my business? And Malik was an advertising executive. Good job, And then later on, when Malik took over, Malik told me, my father begged me to take over, and he cried. The father cried, So I told Malik, there is opportunities here, and because you're your own boss, maybe 𝗪𝗲 𝗪𝗲, 𝗪𝗲 𝗪𝗲 can be equated to a cheeseburger like what McDonald's sold, You think of it, proper business model, proper rollout, you can grow. Today he's got how many million outlets? Crave, right?
Yeah.
salute to him. And we were down there. He was already doing very well. In New York, setting up, for the first Singapore day. And then I got a call from the media. Hey, Seetoh, one of your hawkers earning $1 million a year without paying tax. I said, well, are you sure not? $1 million. I also want to be a hawker, Then they gave me a name. Then I went to Malik. Malik, is it true that you are making $1 million a year at your little store in... these are all public knowledge. I didn't make
and
this
is a stall in New York.
No, he's doing the Singapore day. One day only. He went there for the event. Are you sure you're making $1 million a year without paying tax? He said, no, I don't make $1 million. Then I make 1.2 million. Then he told me his business model. He's got like 20, 30 people in the company. He pays his family. Some people infirm, they don't want to. He pay them. And then those fellas got full-time job. He pay them extra, so he takes care of the family. And in the end, I got hardly any profit.
So then on the flip side, the SEHC model, you don't think encourages that. So what would be the goals, or like what, comparing to what you said, which feels like it's almost like you set the structure in place and let the free market kind of...
Yeah, you should fan their fire.
But what does the SEHC do?
Now.
Yeah. Or like even from the onset to now, has it even changed?
Have you ever seen the full contract?
I
wouldn't put it up. Unless a hawker says, let's put it up together. It's TLDR, it's 53 pages. The short ones are 32 pages, with all the whatsoever, howsoever went off and part thereof and all that. Where the hawker will read. And then I think NEA was saying, I think even in your podcast or in interviews, they go in with their eyes wide open.
Yeah. And that NEA is also present.
And I debunked that. I mean, some of the hawkers are asked, hey, are you sure they're there? They're not all the time. Of late, yes. You can understand. So when that happens, they... what's the question? Where was I?
About SEHC, how do they curb the growth or the fanning of the fires of hawkers?
The contract pointers are so egregious. You have to be there. If this guy opens 2 hawker center stalls, that's the maximum NEA will allow you to open. And then you go and open in private coffee shops here and there. And you got to be here every day. How are you going to,
be present?
Yeah. So it suppresses that. And then they have, you must make everything yourself on site. I think you got to mill the flour to that effect. A lot of hawkers buy stuff. Even the stalls that the SEHC runs, the drink stall, the dessert stall, the beverage stall, that they have all your 𝗂𝗂𝗧 in front of there. They are bought from factories. Yet they tell others you must make there, you must. So it's so egregious. It stunts growth.
And how does that compare with the contract for, let's say, an NEA managed?
NEA is straightforward. Be there. I think they have half a day, or if you're not there, just let them know who's running it. And then be clean and, follow the rules of your hygiene, safety, and food handling regulations. Then all the usual things about fire and safety, pretty straightforward. The rest is up to you. You make money, They are not going to tuck their hand in and take 15%.
Yeah. But isn't that particular rule, SEHC, that you said milling the flour, isn't that trying to keep the idea of the hawker as the individual entrepreneur with one store and, really overseeing all aspects of production, as opposed to someone who's got a chain or multiple stores and then there's a central kitchen preparing all the materials, and then the soul of it is gone after that?
So there are 2 types of people selling food. One is these chaps who see it as a business. The other guys who just want to sell food. Both have their place in society.
Yeah.
Some people who can scale it well and do it well, like Crave or some of these other brands or bak chor mee brands and all that. They do it well. You eat your 𝗄𝗄𝗍𝗧, they have every right to do so. But you shouldn't suppress both their interest to expand and both their interest to be truly artisanal. In their spot. When today, if you're just opening one, you ask a new player this new generation hawker to come in and say, open only one stall. They won't. They want to expand, but they don't know how.
So you're saying it shouldn't be mandated by like contract?
Let it be organic. Today, you want to learn to be a hawker, nobody will teach you how.
Yeah.
What equipment, what are the power, how
I thought there's a hawker incubation program and all that kind of thing.
incubated and didn't come out of the incubator.
So then, like, I mean, but what about the noble intention of SEHCs to be socially conscious?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I never said
Yeah.
SEHC itself. The idea of having a social enterprise hawker is a bad idea. It's a system. It's what they took it and turned it around to be. I mean, they simple it's like government or the farm out.
Yeah.
Not wrong. But where are your guidelines?
But then do you think that it's necessary because left onto its own devices, hawker centers would not be the most accessible, would not have a social responsibility anymore? If it's just
It already is a social enterprise on its own. The 104, 106 hawker centers under NEA right now is already a social enterprise. The hawkers there will know what to sell. Those at this area, people don't mind having a lobster on their nasi lemak. They will sell. This hawker store in Circuit Road, they know there are poor people around who wants $1 breakfast. They sell $1 bihun, kway teow, mee breakfast with little things on top, and then 150 𝗧𝗵𝗶 and 280 nasi lemak. They know
based
what
on the demand
to do.
Yeah.
They know. They are smart. These hawkers are very clever one.
That's the sense I get from talking to even like we had 𝗲𝗲 on the podcast, third generation hawker, that maybe there's this impression, whether it's the public or authorities, that maybe hawkers won't know better, right? But actually what you're saying is that they actually know very well the business, all these things. But doesn't that contradict the fact that they sign a contract with Open Eyes? They also know what's in the contract and what they
If you're a hawker, you go and apply SEHC, government approved, and they give you this 2 million page contract. You question, and they'll say, approved by 𝗓滬. What you want, you write into 𝗓滬. This is the lowest form of entrepreneurship in Singapore. You don't take it, get lost. Lowest form, nothing already. Below that, I don't know what, illegal hawking or something, What are you going to say when this one, not fair, 𝗓滬 approved?
But then they also have the option to go and tender for an NEA hawker center, right?
Some don't know. They believe the SEHC is actually better.
They believe. So then whose fault is that?
Public knowledge fault. The unavailable information about this to the public.
Like contracts, template contracts and stuff.
Yeah,
like
what you go in your eyes open, that means you have to tell people, hey, NEA hawker is like that. SEHC is like that. NTUC run hawker centers is like that. Different. SEHC runs the newly built ones. NTUC, they take over the old ones. And they implement some SEHC rules and regulations.
So would you say there's more education or transparency is needed? SEHCs can be there, but there needs to be more information and more transparency.
In today's context, yes, more so. You go in your eyes wide open. You have to know. If you go in with your eyes wide open and you do not know, you can't say your eyes are wide open.
But then we've also heard, be it in parliamentary speeches or interviews, that SEHCs have brought a lot of benefit, that they have benefited the community. So what would you say to that?
Like?
Footfall, I think there were examples of,
figures or not?
certain SEHCs holding
I've been
durian
to all the SEHC, day, morning, night, evening. I've seen them all. Where are the numbers? Easy to say footfall, no?
Yeah.
How come all the hawkers are leaving? Some of these SEHC are empty, The stalls eventually run by the SEHC themselves.
That means what they bring in, they come up with their own concepts.
They're allowed to run up to 4 stalls of their own.
I see.
And then the other thing is, since when are the SEHCs arbiters and gatekeepers of our food culture? They dictate, hey, yours cannot lah. Douglas, who used to sell fish, he used the famous fishbowl story guy, grandmother's story and all that, open at some SEHC and all that, and he went to another place. I think he got some recognition. He got a lot of awards, Then he went to this SEHC in, I forgot where. They said no to him. Oh, eat already, we'll get back to you when we feel your food is good to that effect. Today, the guy is in Indonesia opening his 6th outlet, if I'm not mistaken. Handmade fishball noodles.
So then, is there a set of guidelines? I mean, again, we have read that there are things in place to regulate SEHCs or monitor performance. Do you have any insight, or have you seen any of that?
What do you mean by regulate performance?
As in, like the way they should operate. Because, okay, let's say, when we hear about tenders for retail outlets or NEA run hawker centers, you have to submit a proposal what you're going to eat, and it feels like fairly templatized.
Yes.
For SEHCs, is it really very different?
So people apply, it's up to SEHC to say, I want you, I don't want you. So since when did they become so experts when they suddenly appointed by NEA? What is the danger there? I tell you, if you go to SEHCs, it's the same things they sell. They sell the LCMs, lowest common multiple meals. Bak chor mee lah, chicken rice lah, nasi lemak lah, porridge, duck rice, sioba, all that lah. If that is the best that they can do, a lot of our food will disappear. The people who want to make onde, little snacks that's not eaten regularly, you go there, maybe a bite in the morning, maybe you have it for a little sweet snack after meals and all that, those will die. Because the SEHC will say, oh, you're not going to make money. Because of that disbelief, it will kill all these vanishing dishes. That a lot of things are vanishing already.
And we are.
𝗏𝗍, handmade 𝗏𝗍, that super Teochew guy in 𝗪𝗏. You don't see a lot of people doing it. They buy 𝗏𝗍 from factories and then they all taste the same.
Yeah, I'm missing my satay bihun. I don't see it a lot around.
Yes, and then 𝗪𝗲 𝗿𝗶𝘁. You think any student here who study, in fact, nobody teaches them how to cook 30, 40 dishes by 11 a.m. every day. It's all factory or maybe a PR or Malaysians in private kopitiams.
Yeah. But I did want to ask, because a lot of all this exploded because what happened at Bukit Canberra as well. So the things that for us as lay people just reading the news, it did seem that hawkers were coming to you and sharing quite the contract points that were really quite egregious lah. But then at the same time, when I read the Straits Times articles where they say they interviewed other hawkers and the hawkers said, they know of these terms and it's okay.
See what I write.
What is happening with the...
Go there, you get the operator down there. Oh, come, let me get you the hawkers to tell you all the good news. So easy, right?
No, because you also shared the article, I think Straits Times did the previous year where they were interviewed off-site.
Sherry locked the article.
Yeah.
I told her, if you want to interview them, you interview them off-site at Intrepid. Do not name them. Wow, they let everything out. But at the official, hey, I'm coming down, I want to speak to you and some hawkers. Guess who the operator will call and why? Interviews, you want investigative journalism, you do it like a win.
So then,
don't tell anyone.
So then what is the issue there? Because hawker culture is one of the things that every Singaporean can appreciate, agrees that we need to preserve it, right? But it still feels like if the SEHC's model is not perfect, and I mean, if you ask me, I also feel like, giving them the baseline structure and you go and run is like the best idea. Why is there no, evolution of the model? It feels like everything I'm hearing is we are doubling down on the SEHCs because there's a net benefit. So is it just because it's hard to turn back on that now?
That one you should ask them. I shouldn't ask me. I have no access to the internal KPIs of themselves, what their internal books say we must do with these public assets. So I can't tell you why they don't evolve or whatever, I ask them, I always say, please rethink. They didn't reply. And somebody is asking them, so please relook all this.
Yeah. But another thing about you saying that if the free market, the hawkers will understand demand, supply, and if there is a demand for low-cost food, they will find a way to make it happen. But like for, say, Gluttons Bay, right? There has also been criticism about how everything there is very expensive. everything there is like for tourists only, and that is almost like, okay, there's a free market that led to that, So how would you respond to that?
The one is commercial. I pay hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million to do that thing. And it's a star location. What?
Yeah.
My cost, my price down there, what I charge, it's cheaper than Maxwell Hawker Centre if you bid for one today.
So then, do you think that
price-wise, hey, I mean, that one really open eyes. I can show you can reject. You can take another one if you want to. My operation is very fair. People have been around there very long.
So then, do you think there is some sort of rethinking that people need to do in terms of, if they look at Gluttons Bay, understanding that, like what you said, it's a star location, of course the prices will typically be higher. You think sometimes consumers also can demand too much of hawkers?
That one very irritating. Unconsciously, hawkers have been led to take the shortest straw. They're expected to feed the poor. Why is it their duty? And they are not subsidized.
Yeah.
And then all this egregious. I don't have all this egregious. My contract only a few pages, very straightforward.
Yeah.
They give me ideas. This one can like that or not. I don't just let them put a blue box. I let them put the whole fridge outside their shop for free, because they need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then if you say like, why do they get the short end of the stick? Then why do they need to feed the poor? But then what defines hawker culture to you? Is there a need to be affordable? Should we all expect to pay higher to keep the hawker sustainable?
Affordable is... affordable in hawker centres, public-run hawker centres has a duty. Affordable in commercial ones, your Food Republics and your Kopitiam, so that's a different story. People go to this kind of places, good location, convenient location, air conditioned and all that. Unconsciously, they are expected to pay more, which is still below world market prices. When you go to hawker centre, sadly, unconsciously, they demand that they be cheap because they think all these public hawkers are subsidized. They're not.
So is there a mindset shift that needs to happen in the every
education,
Singaporean?
like I said, education. Which is why, after all this, I'm looking to set up a little group of thinkers, tailors, soldiers, spies to...
Task force, essentially.
God, don't use another 4-letter word. Hello, task. Maybe a shadow agency to fill in these other gaps: information, expertise, and we'll put out little things for people to understand more of, for the hawkers and the public and even our visitors in general. And if there are lawyers and influencers, there are expert chefs, trainers, all this in the team itself, not just hawkers. So we'll share things that are not exposed or told by the NEA or even the private hawker players. Will tell you, if you want to go in with your eyes wide, you please understand all this before you go in. Things like, we will share things about like what you want to sell would dictate where you should be. How much you want to sell will dictate where you be. You just don't go and say, I want to protect my grandmother's recipe, so I want to go and sell. You will die within 3 months if you do not
plan it out.
Check these boxes out carefully. Yeah.
So okay.
No, I mean, what about the view that at the end of the day, the hawker trade, right, is very romantic. It's something that we all grew up with and all. But really, in this age of AI and literally even a robot cooking Hokkien Mee now is out there.
I've been there.
Yeah. So isn't it that in some way the hawker trade as it was before will not survive the future?
You're thinking, will we have a future
like,
hawker center with robots, is it?
Yeah, or even like all the things that you're talking about, using technology rather than AI and all these things to
maybe when I'm gone, it will, because maybe a new Gen A, Gen Z, Gen A parents whose kids are going to be Gen C, right? Will only see food ever coming in through their door, delivered to them by drones. They won't engage in the romance of seeing an uncle or somebody on there tossing something over a walk. They lost the engagement with that, and then, that's when automation will come in.
So do you see it as an inevitability or something that we should like fight against at all costs?
I think there has to be a balance. I think the craft, that finishing touch, the control. AI can only do what you tell him to right now, But what you want to tell AI to do, what you want AI to do is still done by human. So that role still be a while before AI can take over. So while I can find an AI chopper to go and chop all my different stuff and throw this into there, you get this giant thermal mix things to go and create stock and base and all that. All these are technology. It takes a lot of and I'm there, okay, you done all this for me, I will do the finish. The most romantic part. I finish a thing in front of you, like a show circus performer. But that will take a while.
So that means is the how you say, the human part of it a core part of what you see is hawker culture? Because let's say the robot making Hokkien Mee, the Hokkien Mee is damn shiok, the wok hei all
You say
there.
lah.
Let's say hypothetical.
Okay.
Do you still feel that there needs to be a performative, a human connection that is part of the culture?
Yes. That you know why people like to see hawker cook, right? It's like you standing next to your mother and you cook for you. Hey boy, come, I make vindaloo for you. I make this and that, whatever. You're so shocked,
Yeah. I mean, I think even online, I love watching cooking videos lah. There's just
it's
something
very, very
nice.
satisfying.
I did ask about the technology side to sort of also say, then is it that the model of running hawker centers, like even NEA, if they were to set up a department to find young people who are willing to go to hawker centers and do all these things and do social media, all that, it's tough because it's a hard job, right? Compared to like a profit-driven, SEHC that says, yeah, we'll hire you, professionally, and you come to office, but you also have to do this job, but we'll pay you a good salary, all that. Could it be a generational thing that we are leaving
So
behind?
you mean if the SEHC runs their own stall and hire people to cook, is it?
No, I'm saying that we are saying about, say, like what's so bad about NEA running all hawker centers, right? Rather than getting SEHCs in. But SEHC, they are, run by private organizations who are on the ground, interviewing people for the F&B industry and getting them in there, understanding how young people think about joining the F&B industry and all that. So they take this knowledge and then they manage to hire more young people to continue working and helping hawker centers, as opposed to the NEA, who has to, as a government body, go and do this hiring and finding people themselves who are passionate about hawkers and all. Maybe it's just a lot harder for the next generation of young people.
I guess the romance of the whole entire culture, not well spun, the stories, how far you can go, is there a zero of our chicken rice? So that is very, very weak. I've known it over the decades. We are very weak in spinning stories. We try to be management, but you and I know the stories and the romance of our hawkers is so well loved, so deep. Even foreigners tell a better story than us in their social media, about the people and all that. So that while that is one part that we are weak in general, there's also this other part that we not spinning well about how successful, how far you can go. You can be static and comfortable. You can go far and turn this into a family business and pass it on. Even if you have one or two stalls. So the Chenteng stall at Bedok Corner, third generation, all family people. And that is a piggy bank for the entire family. It's not the profit. Whoever is arrowed to work around there takes more of the cut, but the rest feeds the family. This is true social enterprise at the end of the day.
So let's say you have the mandate, to revise the hawker system in Singapore. Like what would you do, or like what approach would you take?
I don't know. I have some ideas, but unless and until I know the doctrine and mandate of what NEA is, what the internal...
this one, NEA aside, you have somehow gotten the public vote, KFC.
Oh, I think, like I said, I will be spinning a better story and telling a new generation, hey, who say you cannot be... I mean, look, people want to be well-loved, they want to make money, they want to be liked. I'll tell you can. And these are the things you can do. Look at all these criteria, all these factors. You got to think of it. And then who says Singapore is your limit? Our hawkers in New York are raking it, Although they're in the midst of getting a new management and half the place is empty, those who are still there are still doing very well. When the new management comes in, I will be helping them to refill all the stalls up there and create a new buzz again. Some of them have already opened outlets. Our own Hainan Jones Chicken Rice are opening outlet in Brooklyn. We're looking at New Jersey. We've got offers in LA. Pick and choose. Fantastic market. Philippines, Indonesia, even Vietnam. Fantastic markets. No manpower problem. And cost of running these things is incredulous. I am unfortunately a consultant to the world's most expensive food court, Rasapura. If you pay their percentage is 28 or 29%, you're paying on average. The hawkers who run the stall there tell me you're paying 40,000 a month.
This is at the
for a stall the size of smaller than this room.
The food court at Marina Bay Sands.
There's a service what they have to pay.
Yeah, you pay. They charge you GTO.
Gross
of whatever you make. If you don't hit about 40%, they say you are 40,000 for them per month. They say you are underpaying. You're underperforming. They have the right to kick you out within 3 months. Wow. There's a long line for it. So you say what you want. I mean, people are willing to pay $40,000 there. Who says everything must be cheap?
So that means, like, what you're saying is, aside from spinning the story, painting the path for a successful hawker, the model you would take for running the hawker centers is really just like hands off, like what NEA is doing now,
and more. Add more of MSG in there.
So then do you think it's also, because one thing that I feel when I hear the SEHC thing, I feel like calling it a hawker center, it sets up very unrealistic expectations. If they were just to call it a food court, then, I mean, people would look at it differently, right? Yeah,
but people go there, it's a public asset, no? But the last thing they would think of is a food court. They think hawker, they have to think hawker, that means government subsidized. At least now I'm able to share that they are not subsidized. They are charged for so many things. Next thing they will charge for tissue paper, I tell you. So awareness is very, very important. What our nation lacks to prop this well-loved UNESCO culture that we have in the space of education, tourism of it, not well maximize. Everybody come here want to go to 𝗨𝗪𝗧, crazy rich Asians. What about a guy in Clementi who sells that pork satay with that peanut sauce? Shock. When you come, it's so sizzling, you can see the fat sizzling and you want to die with a smile after eating all that. What about all these stories? And then where is the education for them to learn to be better hawkers while maintaining this organic culture that they practice? How do you practice better your signage, your social media telling and all that? You can tell them I'm the dirtiest hawker in Singapore, but I'm within regulations. People will come. So I think you got to encourage them to be the best of what you can be within the parameters of what's acceptable.
I mean, it does sound like like every time we talk about SEHC and the justifications, it's very transactional. Feels very like
soulless.
Yeah, it's trying to fulfill a social function or charity or not.
Yeah, I mean,
whereas what I'm hearing is that you're saying that we're not focusing enough on the romantic aspect, or even just how a business can scale aspect of being a hawker.
A story sells. There is a seventh flavor, sweet, sour, salty, spicy, bitter, umami, and story. People before they land in Singapore, they I want to go and queue at that don't know what.
Where you get scolded by the auntie,
see this one, my friend say, go there. After they go back, I line up 2 hours for it, but oh boy,
Shiok.
It was worth it.
That's what I call the seventh flavor here.
So then, are you surprised that there aren't there aren't that many people as vocal as you. Do you ever think like, hey, how come
Others
people
don't do it, right?
Yeah. You think that's a cultural problem? You think that's a Singapore problem? Education system?
Yeah, they fear the system. But if your intent is to do what PM says, hey, I got to work with you, help me do a better, then you really have to stand up and say it without fear, without favor, without politics. This whole thing is not political, It's just about a better think on this whole system that supports a thriving, sexy, romantic culture that is so exportable, so lovable, so people even can monetize this when they export this. I do.
Yeah.
So then, if you had to, rate yourself, are you more optimistic or pessimistic that hawker culture will survive?
If it carries on like this, if NEA comes out and says this is status quo, nothing we can do about it.
It'll die.
But I believe it's mine and whoever has the opportunity and access to this information to tell people, hey, this is how it is. Go in now, truly with your eyes wide open.
But, you're very vocal about all this. And, a lot of people have stood and say, we need more voices like you. How come you're not running for politics to make the change? Be the change you want to see.
The first time. I got standard answer for that already.
Come, what's that?
If I go into politics and all that, then who's going to question Parliament?
You.
Then who's going to question me? I got to stay out.
We question.
I got to stay out and whoever.
No. Then you come in that seat wearing whatever you.
No, I want to be you. Question the thing from outside. If I join a party and then that party is egregious, then how? I cannot question. I have my whip to work within. I want to stay outside. Any party that nonsensical, I say, hey, hello, come on, please. This one not right lah. I'll tell you why.
Yeah. Independent or anything like this election, the independents have.
I know how indie MPs work. So not my cup of tea also. I know a lot of them. Yeah.
So is this the most effective way you can have impact, you feel?
This is the most effective platform everybody has. It's called, wait for it, active citizenry. If you do not stand up and protect your own country and help the government make this better, you're a failure. Take away your passport.
But then if you think about the younger generation, you mentioned that for a while you had a lucrative career, you managed to, build a life for you and your family and all. Now with the younger generation, so many cost concerns. Of course, cost concerns is affecting everyone. But for those people coming up, why should they care about hawker culture when even expenses, family planning, it's a concern already. They're so stressed. Everyone's stressed.
Yeah. So when the generation grow up older, or the young kids, who's forced to have 3 meals a day and a comfortable room to live in and school to go to, grow up, and then they are faced with $15 things, hawker food coming out of factories and robotics and all that. They're going to tell their parents, you were alive during Seetoh time when you were doing all this. Why didn't you do anything about it?
Then they say, you think if I was doing that, you think I can afford your like ballet class?
Hawker food at that time not expensive, what? Why didn't you fight for the continuation of this culture? Why have to eat things coming out of boxes hanging outside my door? So expensive. So what are we doing? We're protecting culture, heritage, the food fabric of a nation. What's wrong with that?
I thought that way as well. Then recently I was hanging out with a bunch of quite young primary school children. And I realized none of them had ever stepped in the hawker center before. They eat Japanese, they eat Korean, they eat all these things. But the concept of going hawker center, they're literally holding it at doors and walking around. Doesn't that worry you that they don't even want the culture?
I don't blame the kid. I blame the parents. These are the Gen X. Millennial parents. They themselves, I have arrived. I'm earning $1,500 now. I want to take my children to whatever 𝗓𝗲 things. They want to show off. But if you have no identity for your kid, even via food, what are your kid going to grow up to be, man? Then how can your kid complain the next time say, how come I missed out on all this growing up? I mean, there are nice local food served in nicer places. Some cafes, some chefs come out, they do damn good bespoke 𝗏𝗲𝗏𝗏, dalam besar, the fellow doing very nice. If this generation of parents with younger kids feel that they need to spend a lot of money in nicer places, why don't you spend it on food of who you are? You eat who you are, no?
But then can't they go to JB if they want to?
Yeah, JB also has that culture, which I also celebrate. But JB, I don't know, nobody on there protecting their thing also, their culture also.
But so do you think like people in Singapore, the younger generation, understand how important and how special hawker culture is?
No.
Like, have you seen anything comparable in anywhere you have traveled, anywhere in the world?
No, all regressing. I mean, closest is perhaps Japan. I mean, the reverence they have for even the street vendor, the street stalls in Fukuoka. They have a lot of respect for them, you know. We lack that. We lack the respect for ourselves. We don't see ourselves in practitioners like this. So that is a bit of a problem. This alludes back to the spin that is missing.
Then what about the architecture of a hawker center in and of itself? Other countries have food courts, but have you seen anything that is similar to that? Because I know even when you go to Malaysia, you drive here to have wanton mee, you drive here to have chili pan mee, but this sort of mix where within like 100...
You got CMIO food, right?
Yeah. Have you seen anything?
Nothing. Our food courts are in a class of its own. The Woodley Hawker Center, the new one, high ceiling, big ass fans, and all kinds of very nice flow and airy and cheerful. Even has bathroom for the hawkers. Because they say, since I'm going to work, regulate you to work 14 hours a day, including prep time. I have to put you up.
So that is the SEHC or
SEHC by 𝗲𝗄𝗯𝗀, I think so. The other thing is schools, right? Now the canteens all I don't think it's a bad move, no.
Oh, really?
Why?
For
because
the
I've
central
visited
kitchen.
a lot of them. Nobody wants to be a hawker in a school canteen, even though it's next to nothing for rentals. You only get 1-2 meals a day, and then your holidays and your weekends, no business. It's very hard to do. So what a lot of these school canteens I've visited, and I've been invited to look at all this. They sell the stuff that kids want: chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, all kinds of dadadis and all that. Children lost it. They are now going to eat what they grew up with. So I think maybe if they switch to, say, a good supplier who will give you popiah, who will give you noodles, who will give you 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, all the other, then at least they recognize the flavors. So I wouldn't think but it depends on how they operate this. But I think if they share food in the canteen as part of the curriculum, then I'm proud of it.
Well, that's interesting because we had a discussion here where I think he and I also disagreed about the canteen operators going to a central kitchen and all. But that's an interesting perspective that culturally we need to train our young children to eat that kind of food.
So basically Terence said central kitchen okay.
Yeah, I was okay. He said
some central kitchens are okay.
So I think in some way what he's saying, central kitchen, if they are cooking popiah in the central kitchen, that's fine. So it's less about who cooks it, but what they cook, right? What they feed.
Yeah, I mean, food starts at average, you know. But at least the story is true. Popiah, you know, and if there's good storyboards written in the school canteens about food, you know, these kids, nonchalant as they are, they will read and it gets in there, you know. Oh, today I'm eating Nonya laksa. Today I'm eating Indian murtabak or biryani and so on and so forth. So I'm telling you, educators treat that recess session as education.
National education.
But going back to the question about why is hawker culture, you know, knowing who you are, why does that matter? Especially everything now, with social media, when you say people should eat the food that from their own culture and all, but what if there's no need for that? We're hearing everything aside from Trump and other like far right leaning countries. The world is globalized, you know. There's meant to be everyone can go from place to place.
Yeah.
Why is it important that we understand and appreciate our culture and heritage?
Before you can go around the world and recognize what the rest of the world is and enjoy their food culture, their people, what they are, you must first know who you are. You must know where you came from, then you know where you're going. If you don't know who you are, then, some people go for a trip to Disneyland and say, oh, I'm so American. I once read years ago, this girl who went 16 years old, it was written in the media, went to Disneyland for a holiday, came back slang already,
I got friends who went to uni for like a few years and then come back and they speak American.
So if you don't know who you are, you will not know what the rest of the world is.
We got some friends who came back speak Singaporean, but the longer they are away from the US,
on social media,
the late onset accent. Late onset accent also.
Fake news, fake accent.
We talked about hawker centers, canteens. One more place that you recently been talking a lot about also is 𝗲𝗄𝗏 kopitiams. And you're saying that 𝗲𝗄𝗏 kopitiams, again, public asset that shouldn't have been sold to private.
Why do you want to sell? Public asset, you and my money paid for that, don't to build it. They sell and then they resell until the 141 million bucks, right? Tampines, right? For the guy who owned that place at 41 million, the guy wants to recover money. He's not social enterprise, The hawkers are paying $12,000 rent down there, and then you pay for this, that. Of course, the guy has to make money. So I asked, why you want to do that? $41 million, you can go to New York and build a food court.
Actually, why? Like the
you have to ask them. I don't know. Maybe they invest, and after that, next thing you know, they got citizenship. I don't know.
You don't know. It's true.
Say only.
That's true. Yeah.
But so then, do you think the broader conversation about how because now I'm like 41. I talk to my nephews and nieces and all. It feels like the only way in Singapore to survive, there needs to be an ROI on everything. And that's where even like media sports, it feels like everyone knows this is important, but it's never seen as a priority.
The ROI thing, yes.
Yeah.
So government gives SEHC, give me the ROI.
Yeah.
But where's ROI?
Somewhere lah.
Sure lah. I mean, it's public one.
Yeah.
I paid for the thing, or you and I paid for that thing. Yeah. I need to know. It cannot be a secret.
From society's perspective, you mentioned why as an individual it's important to know where you came from, to know where you're going. But as a country, as a society, why is it important that we do pay attention to things like heritage food? Because what's the ROI?
Why do we need attention? We don't have an identity. The only last bastion of culture resides and is protected in the hawker center. So, I mean, we don't even have our own songs. Our national songs. National Welcome to my 𝗄𝗲𝗙𝗏 and what happened to my Speedway and all that gingerbread and what happened to all of them, it's very sad. We got no language of our own. We got nothing. We are really floating as a culture. We're floating in space. So I always say, learn a little bit about myself through language. Learn all the bad words of the CMIO to start with, and then through food. Have you ever stopped? I asked people listening, when you're ordering food from other than your own skin color, have you can talk to them? Hey, try to learn a couple of their words and engage, whether dialect or other official languages. You will learn so much. That's how I get my stories from. I hear them, I understand them. I don't judge them. I understand them. It just makes my living every day a whole lot better.
So going back to, if we drill down a bit deeper, we need to have an identity. But then, what's the ROI of that?
ROI or identity?
Yeah, why is it important that we have an identity? Because now everything I hear is like
identity is not ROI, it's humanity. I mean, you're a human, you are a person. Knowing who you are, what you stand for, where you came from is an ROI in itself. I can stand proud wherever I go, wherever I do. You see how proud the foreigners are. You don't see French fella coming and do 𝗪𝗪𝗪. Me, French, I want to sell the most expensive croissant in the world. They are who they are. And then we respect that. The Japanese come here, wow, slice fish, wow, only one Japanese selling 𝗏𝗂𝗧𝗵𝗶, West Coast, right? Because the guy learned from the thing. But if you know who you are, people respect you because they know the ground you stand on. And whatever else you want to do, they respect you because you understand me now. So that is an ROI, not in monetary terms, but in cultural, humanity terms.
Then when you see like Newton Hawker Centre and Crazy Rich Asians and all that, how do you feel about that kind of thing?
There's nothing wrong in Newton Hawker Centre, but there's too much grilled fish on there. I thought if any place in Singapore should have a vast variety, is Newton, even 𝗨𝗪𝗧. You must everything down there, and then you must support these people to sell. Everybody is just selling the best LCM dishes.
But 𝗨𝗪𝗧 not bad, right?
Quite good. I mean, there are some good, some meh, but it is a real experience. If I came here Singapore for the first time and I do not go Clementi or Bukit Merah, I'll go 𝗨𝗪𝗧. It's accurate.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
And historic building and everything.
Nice.
So,
Pricier a bit, but hello. Guess where the money go to, right? The rentals.
Yeah. But I mean, even in CBD, comparatively, the meals at 𝗨𝗪𝗧 are still affordable. Like any CBD in the world. You can't find prices
for
like
that. It's I mean, for a developed first world, richest country in the world, our food is ridiculously cheap, even at 𝗨𝗪𝗧.
Yeah.
There are countries that pay more than what we do at 𝗨𝗪𝗧 for an average common man blue collar meal.
Yeah. So maybe like just thinking, ahead. Just now I ask you like whether you're more pessimistic, more optimistic. Like what keeps you up at night? And of course, I'll end off by saying like, what are you excited about? But we go to the darker place first. What keeps you up at night?
That I wake up to a challenge every day. There's something that it's really worth doing. Then it keeps, fingers, blood going to the tip of my fingers. Whether I'm going to punch in a post or go and see somebody, meet somebody, get ideas and all that. To grow this culture that I celebrate and advocate, and to understand and share with people, where I tell my stories, all these different platforms, or even engage public and the government to think about what's bothering me. Challenge is what you wake up to every day. Also, I sleep 8 hours soundly every day.
So then another thing about looking forward and the evolution of hawker culture, because one thing that has also come up in Parliament, I think, if the demographic of who's making your food changes, like whether they are not Singaporean, does that fit into the narrative of hawker culture, or is it more the act of that human to human connection, the performance, the art, and not about the demographic of the people?
Hello, day. Once upon a time, Singapore only got nasi lemak. They eat from the tree. They pack the thing. All the stuff we are eating are imported. Wow. Teochew, Hokkien, from the coconut tree, catch the fish, make rice. All our food is imported. I mean, there's no such thing as a Singapore food. We have come to accept it as part of our food fabric. Your nasi lemak is not from here, prata is not from here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has got roots in China, so on and so forth. There are though some Singapore dishes, and I'm counting maybe up to 60 of them, and I hope to release it before the SG60 is over this year. 60 dishes born and bred in Singapore, truly evolved, and we can truly call our own. But the other few 100 is all evolved. So our food culture is a growing thing. It has to grow with the
population, the
ethnicity. But unfortunately, we're getting too mala. Our friends down there only 你们只知道麻辣，别的东西你不会煮啊。if you look at China, there's so many dishes we've not seen before. There's this guy in the basement of Sim Lim Towers, where the food court down there at the end. He's queue 4 p.m. break, lunch break, also got people queue one. He does this braise. It's a mala soy braise from Anhui in Fujian. He went there, he learned from a master, and the guy taught him. So he has this like bronze or copper big giant wok over low heat. He braised everything from pork trotters to chicken feet, and then vegetables. Everything is in there. He braised until it's dry, it's just moist. You stand in there, you point to the different corners of the wok, the fella pick up. It's damn good, no? So yeah, I love this. It is expanding our food culture because we had nothing once ago, but now it's evolving. It is not a static thing. But of course, we have our classics that we can celebrate.
Okay. So not fully against the proliferation.
Fully against all opening the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
In Chinatown and Geylang.
So variety must have.
Yeah, variety. We are everything, right? And Singapore, especially who we are, we love to try new things, but if it's the same old thing every time it's new, even from India, where are all the other wonderful dishes that I ate? I mean, we only got your vegetarian stuff and all that. Hey, India is damn big, and I've seen Gujarati stuff. They are fantastic, you know. And then I've seen, I see pockets of it here and there, maybe in Little India, but that I think has to spread a little bit wider, reinterpreted a little bit.
Need you to bring it to Singapore lah.
Yeah, Kerala food, Goan food.
It's amazing.
没有嘞，这里没有嘞。
Yeah, don't have. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, if I'm sure a lot of people have heard about your writings and all, but if people wanted to find out more about what you are, what you stand for, where would you like them to go?
Hey, never promote my ebook lah. Look, come on, stop promoting my ebook lah. Sorry, I was so engrossed in your hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
So I've been inking food guides since 1998. Right, my first book was inked there. I did about 9-10 hard copies. So since after COVID, we went e-version because it's too expensive cost to print, ink, design, photograph, and store, and then go and sell. By the time I hardly made money from all my book last time. It's so expensive. The margins are so thin, and these bookshops, they will cut you off, So I get by because there's a name, we work with some sponsors. But now that I go because of all these facilities that version can give you, you tap on it, boom, Google Map come up to the auntie that sells Penang style char kway teow at Boon Keng. You go right to her doorstep, or I can put in videos.
Yes.
I can put in recipes. If you got a book from overseas, I can't go but I love bak chor mee. I put a bak chor mee recipe down there for you. So on and so forth. There's so many features. So I put about 500 listings in there. Just Google Makansutra ebook. The thing will come out.
Okay. We can put a link in the show note. We can put a
link.
Please.
Spend so much time with you waiting. And it is the other 4-letter word. FREE. Just log in and click on. It's an ebook. There's some requests. Maybe we just for a season ink the real book. You buy, and then you want the e-version, you just QR code back to the book, to the detail there. And sure, it's rated. It's 1 pair chopstick, 2 pair, 3 pair chopstick, die must try and all that. But my intent today is to sell the experiences. I mean, I have a rating. We've been around for almost 30 years. I still won't say we are the foremost authority on that. I'm still learning, So the real objective is to tell you the story. I don't just write review. I tell you that person, little 1 or 2 lines that, oh wow, really? If I say it's very spicy, it's subjective, But I just want to tell my CMIO story about the food culture, about what is it like to experience eating hawker center in a real hawker center, out in even in the boondocks. So that's what I sell in this book. Download, it's free. I'm sure more people will download if I charge. Charge must be good. Pay. But no. We
and it's
have
called
other ways.
The Makansutra
ebook 2025.
Okay.
It'll come up.
Okay. Nice. Okay, cool. We can put that link in the show. We can put a link to your Facebook profile also. Is that where you do most of the writing?
Thank you.
Cool. Instagram also.
Yeah.
Now we just have one more question, which is the One Shiok Thing. We gave you a heads up before, so we can go first to buy you some time in case you need some time.
I have to ask you as well.
We will keep
will
ours.
each have one. Each of us.
Yeah.
What Shiok Thing and what Shiok Thing?
No.
Because
As
they
in
give
we
you two
each
answers.
have our own.
Each
Okay,
of us got one.
go. Fire away.
Okay, you got yours, Terence?
Yeah, actually, mine is just now is the September October F1 season. A lot of people are not attending the race because expensive, right? The tickets. But actually, I recently was just walking at night along Orchard Road, and I don't do that very often. But I was just having a long walk along Orchard Road. And actually, there's a lot of little booths they set up there along Orchard Road, where people can experience, simulator driving, obviously buy merchandise, but also at the end of Orchard Road, outside Ion, there's this section where Lego has recreated the F1 track also. So to me, it was like, when I go there, I'm like a kid, wow, so nice, and all the different things. And it's one of those things that I guess, in some way, you talk about identity and all, like F1, although it's from Angmo and everything, right? But it has been we kind of gotten used to having it every year. And maybe you don't partake in the race or you're not interested in F1, but just the general feel and the mood of it, I thought, okay, it's quite nicely captured as you walk along Orchard Road that way. So my one Shiok thing is to, ask people to bring your kids, go for a short walk along Orchard Road at night and just partake in the spirit.
Partake in the spirit. Cool. My one Shiok thing, I'm not that much of a gamer, but I saw a trailer for a game recently called 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗍. Like RECUR. Have you heard of it? I think it's an independent game. Do you play games, Seetoh? No. So, I'm not the biggest gamer also, but I thought the concept for this is damn interesting because I saw the trailer. It's kind of like an apocalyptic end of days platform game. But why I find it so interesting is it's one of those you move left to right on the screen. So as you move left to right, time goes forward. But if you move right to left, time goes backwards. And those are the only movements, and I think you can jump and do certain actions, but just that mechanic, right? That's how the game works. And at first I was like, how do you play a game like that? But basically, if something happens when you go forward, when you go backwards, you can kind of change what happens when you go forward again by removing an object here and all that. I think it's worth watching the trailer because I watched that. I'm not a gamer. I don't even intend to play the game, but I saw that. I was like, oh my God. When you think there's no new game that can come up, someone comes up with this crazy idea and you watch it, you're like, oh my God, that is super cool. Yeah.
What platform is it on?
It's on Steam. So I guess it's one of those you buy, you download and play. Yeah. But the trailer is quite mind-blowing.
Okay.
Cool. So it's in some way like what you say about hawker culture. You don't want the same ones. Someone can just come up with something new.
It will. Yeah. Platforms will encourage new ideas. Yeah. But all you spoke about the game earlier on is all Hebrew to me, right? Right?
I could see you kind of zoning out. I could see you kind of zoning out.
It's like, don't know, think about 𝗏𝗏 later already. So my Shiok thing is, I allude a little bit to what he said. He's not about Orchard Road, you sit there. I do go Orchard Road with my wife. We sit down there, we buy a packet of sushi, and we watch people. Sometimes I think Singaporeans forget the little pleasures this country offers. I go to my Glutton's Bay, right? I eat down there. After that, they walk up and down just to look at people, open their mouth, have the Malayan spit into them. Very fun, Joy in Singapore need not be expensive. Even you go for a makan at East Coast. We have that wonderful hawker center at East Coast Hawker Center, a spit by the shore. You go down there, after you walk, you just listen, shut everything out, denoise your head. It's beautiful. So in this stressful world, look at the little pleasures. And then you go to a hawker center, don't go and, where to eat? Go and support the ones that got no queue. And then find your reason. You can sit at the corner and enjoy that coffee. Orchard, you sit down there, you watch there. One day I'll bring my guitar and they play for fun. They say, busking. No, I'm not busking. I'm not collecting money. And I feel, you talk about Orchard, there should be more curated dirt on the street.
Curated dirt.
Curated chaos.
I saw a lot of buskers when I walk at night, and quite interesting, all doing very strange things.
Nice thing, people can sell their craft, do things, or like the old days where I grew up with in Gay World, which is renamed the Happy World, which is right opposite my house in Geylang. You can you go there, got pop car then they sell all sort of funny things the old pasar malam, little things. That lends color And this color came from culture. We must protect that.
So if there's one spot that you could recommend that you could point people to, where would you say a spot to sit down and observe?
Besides there, Orchard Road, one. The other one, if you dare, go Geylang. Sit at a corner coffee shop under
just watch
El Fresco and eat something that you cannot pronounce. Then you watch, this one is
very
a worker. It's not night shift worker. Very interesting. These are all Singapore and a part of who we are.
Correct.
So if you don't go to north, south, east, west, and you don't go and enjoy all this, you will never know you're Singapore.
That's true.
Oh, what a poignant way to end. Thank you so much for joining us.
Terima kasih.
Yeah, please keep the fight alive. A lot of people appreciate what you do.
Fighting, don't use the word fight.
Keep the advocacy alive.
Keep the story going.
Keep the story going. Yeah, keep the story going. We appreciate what you're doing, and long live hawker culture.
Yeah. And all the links are in the show notes for all the how to find out more about your ebook, as well as what 𝗪𝗲 writes about as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you all soon.